The Queen vs. The EST, Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair's feud turns personal. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we've got some truly surprising and heartwarming news from the WWE Universe. In WWE, legacy defines everything. Bloodlines, championships, records. For Charlotte Flair, legacy is her inheritance. Born into greatness, molded by her father's legend, and determined to carve her own throne. For Bianca Belair, legacy is earned. No famous name, no shortcuts, just raw athleticism, pure drive, and unbreakable will. So when the Queen and the EST crossed paths, it was destined to be explosive. But what started as mutual respect has now turned into one of WWE's most personal and bitter rivalries in years. This is the full story of the Queen vs. The EST, Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair's feud turns personal. Two paths to greatness. Before the feud came the rise. Charlotte Flair debuted in NXT in 2013. The daughter of Ric Flair, she quickly shook off any doubts of nepotism. She dominated with poise, technical mastery, and championship pedigree. With countless title reigns, Royal Rumble wins, and WrestleMania moments, Charlotte became a cornerstone of WWE's women's evolution. Meanwhile, Bianca Belair entered NXT years later. A former track star and CrossFit competitor, she brought something fresh, unmatched strength, agility, and confidence. Her braid was as dangerous as her dropkick. She didn't just say she was the EST, she proved it. Both women climbed the ladder. But they did it very differently. Charlotte was polished, precise, privileged. Bianca was raw, explosive, self-made. Inevitably, their paths collided. First encounter. In early 2020, the seeds were planted. Bianca Belair began building momentum in NXT. Charlotte Flair, after winning the Women's Royal Rumble, surprised the world by choosing to challenge Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania. That brought Charlotte back to NXT, and into Bianca's world. On February 5, 2020, Charlotte appeared on NXT. Bianca, who had her own title aspirations, took offense. She confronted Charlotte and told her, point blank, "You don't even go here." The crowd went wild. The tension was electric. Bianca vs. Charlotte was teased but never delivered. Charlotte faced Rhea at WrestleMania, while Bianca was called up to Raw later in the year. Fans were left wanting more. And WWE knew they had lightning in a bottle. Clash of Titans. Fast forward to SmackDown 2023. Bianca Belair, now a multiple-time women's champion, had cemented herself as a top star. Her 420-plus day title reign was one of the longest in modern WWE history. Charlotte Flair returned to challenge her dominance, and this time, there was no avoiding each other. Their first major showdown came on the June 30th edition of SmackDown, in a championship match. The hype was massive. The match itself, a masterclass. Counters, near falls, power moves. Flair's figure 8 versus Bianca's KOD. Neither woman would give an inch. But the match ended in chaos when Asuka interfered, causing a no contest. Still, the message was clear. Bianca and Charlotte weren't just equals, they were threats to each other. Respect. Or rivalry. At first, the feud was based on mutual respect. Charlotte called Bianca one of the best athletes she's ever seen. Bianca called Charlotte the standard she always wanted to surpass. But slowly, cracks began to form. In interviews, Charlotte made subtle digs. Bianca's reign was impressive, but it took me half the time to win double the titles. Bianca fired back, "I didn't have a last name to open doors. I kicked them down." The crowd picked sides. Some backed the legacy, others rallied behind the self-made star. WWE leaned in, booking more tag matches, more promos, and more stare-downs between the two. And eventually, the respect faded. The turning point. Everything changed on the October 13th episode of SmackDown. Bianca Belair had just returned from a short hiatus. Charlotte congratulated her backstage but hinted that she hoped Bianca would stay in her lane. Later that night, in a match between Bianca and Bayley, Charlotte was at ringside. At a critical moment, Bayley knocked Bianca into Charlotte, who was holding the ring steps. Charlotte looked stunned, then furious. As Bianca rose, Charlotte smashed her with the steel steps. Unprovoked, cold, calculated. The crowd gasped. Charlotte didn't even apologize. In fact, she said, "I don't play second fiddle. Not to Bayley, not to Bianca. I'm still the queen." And just like that, the feud turned personal. Bianca strikes back. The following week, Bianca didn't wait for a match. During Charlotte's entrance, Bianca attacked from behind. She slammed Charlotte into the LED board, whipped her with the braid, and yelled, "You want war? I'll give you one." No promos. No mic time. Just pure emotion. WWE officials separated them, but the damage was done. Both women now saw each other as obstacles, not just to titles, but to legacy itself. Charlotte believed Bianca was being handed the spotlight she once owned. Bianca believed Charlotte couldn't handle seeing someone else in her throne. And WWE fans, they were witnessing the evolution of a rivalry destined for WrestleMania. Promos get personal. In the weeks that followed, the promos cut deep. Charlotte Flair, "You wear your braid like a crown, Bianca. But I was born with royalty in my veins. You want to be me. But you can't be me." Bianca Belair, "You might be royalty, but I'm reality. While you were busy coasting on your name, I was breaking records and breaking barriers." The feud became less about championships and more about identity. Charlotte needed to prove she was still the alpha. Bianca needed to prove she was more than just hype. The stakes weren't just personal. They were historic. Road to Royal Rumble. WWE teased their first official pay-per-view singles match for Royal Rumble 2025. The match was promoted as Queen vs. EST, Destiny Collides. In the lead-up, WWE released a 30-minute documentary chronicling both careers. The real emotion was clear. Bianca talked about how she idolized Charlotte but also wanted to surpass her. Charlotte admitted, "If I lose to Bianca, maybe it's time to pass the torch." The match was main event worthy. But it ended in chaos. Bayley, Asuka, and even Tiffany Stratton interfered, causing a wild brawl and a double disqualification. Once again, no clear winner. But one thing was clear. This rivalry wasn't ending, it was just getting started. WrestleMania calls. Triple H announced it officially on Raw after Elimination Chamber. Bianca Belair vs. Charlotte Flair. WrestleMania 41 Night 1 main event. But not just a regular match, a last woman standing match. No pinfalls, no submissions, no disqualifications, only one can stand tall. In their final promos, both women held nothing back. Charlotte Flair, "If I have to break you to remind the world who I am, then I will. Because I'm not just a Flair, I'm the damn queen." Bianca Belair, "You made this personal, Charlotte. Now, I'm gonna show the world that legacy isn't inherited, it's earned. I'm gonna stand, and you're gonna fall." WrestleMania 41. WrestleMania 41, Los Angeles. Night 1 main event. Bianca Belair vs. Charlotte Flair. Queen vs. EST. No rules, no excuses, just war. The match was brutal. Steel chairs, kendo sticks, barricade spots. Charlotte targeted Bianca's knee. Bianca targeted Charlotte's back. Highlights included Charlotte hitting a moonsault from the barricade. Bianca countering a figure 8 into a chair-assisted KOD. Both women crashing through the announce table after a double spear. The final moment, Charlotte set up for natural selection on the steel steps, but Bianca caught her midair, hoisted her onto her shoulders, and hit a KOD off the steps onto the exposed floor. Referees started counting. 1, 2, 3. Charlotte tried to crawl. 6, 7, 8. She reached for the barricade. 9, 10. Bianca wins. The crowd erupted. The EST stood tall, tears in her eyes. She didn't just beat a queen. She became a legend.